Hey, everybody. All right, happy Friday out there. I hope everyone's gotten their tickets. So let me just first give some information about the tickets so that there's no confusion. We've received a couple of emails, some phone calls, so we want to make sure everybody is straight for tomorrow. So tomorrow is HAPI's premiere. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that means make sure wherever you're going to tune in that you know that it's 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've already bought your ticket, just go to our website. There's a big old button that says ticket holders and a couple of things that you have to do, and you'll be right there seeing the film. Also, if you bought a ticket, I'm sending everybody an email. You should receive 1 or 2 emails, depending on when you bought your ticket, explaining exactly how to access the film. And it's going to there's also a video, so you can if you just can't. If you don't feel like reading, you just look at the video. But it's very easy to get back online to see the video. You will not be able to access it until 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So don't worry if you got an error message. It's okay. So we're really, you tell all your friends about HAPI tomorrow. This is a family event. Sit down. Everyone's going to learn something, and it's going to open the doors for you to learn even more. So I will send, everybody will receive an email at 9 p.m. who's bought a ticket. With this email, it will have the Zoom link for the panel discussion that will follow afterwards. And we're going to have a couple cast members talk about all different things. You'll be able to ask questions and this and that. So make sure everyone's clear. You will not receive the Zoom link until 9 p.m. and it will be sent out in an email. The panel discussion will start at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to bring in this. Oh, this is just like a powerhouse. He's also in the film. The director, Taki Grant, has always talked about him being one of the pillars, along with Dr. Leonard Jeffries and Professor James Small, as giving him the idea and the structure to be able to do this film. And also, Mfundishi has been in one of the director's other films. So this is really exciting. We are going to learn. This is going to be like a comedic 101 class. It's very important that we get this information. So without further ado, here's Mfundishi. Yay, hello.
Hello. Black Power, EM Hotel.
Oh, yeah, I like that, Black Power. All right, so first of all, before we even get started, I want you to say your whole name, okay? And explain to us what your name means and why that's important.
Okay. Okay, so only part of it is on the screen because all of it wouldn't fit. Okay. It's Mfundishi DJhutyms Ka in Heru Hassan Kamal Salim. So we start out, on my birth certificate it says Hassan Kamal Salim, which means a good spiritual warrior for peace. A good spiritual warrior for peace. So I was born to do this. I was born to be a spiritual warrior for peace. As I became a Kemetic priest, I became DJhutyms Ka in Heru, which means DJhutyms is articulate thought, articulate speech, articulate writing, but what most people leave out, articulate action for higher consciousness. Okay, so don't let the intellectual stuff bog you down. Don't get it twisted. If I have to get physical, I'm a grandmaster in the art, okay? I just want to put that out there.
You just want to be clear.
And then Mfundishi means great spiritual grandmaster. So when you, in the Kemetic legacy, the word name is Rin. And Rin is a lips and a wave of energy with a man with his hand in his mouth. And it means, what is the utterance of your energy? So a name is the utterance of a person's energy. And so when you say your name, it's supposed to resonate on who you are, what you're about, who you are connected to culturally, and where you're going. So as a great spiritual grandmaster, I'm here to teach higher consciousness, but at the same time, don't get it twisted, to be a warrior, but all for ma'at, for peace. So my name. So if somebody understands the legacy and they see my name, they know who I am before they even meet me. They see the name and the name precedes you. And so it's extremely important that the name connects you to culture. It connects you to a vibrant history. It talks about who the essence of you are, what is your energy, and it talks about where you are heading. And sometimes what you have already done.
So, so like who, can anybody just come up with their name, like, you know, do research and say, okay, I'm going to name myself this.
The only problem with that is that if you name yourself a name outside of the culture paradigm that you know about, you might be doing an injustice to yourself. I had a friend, her name was Kim Orr. She named herself, which means the Great Black. That sounds beautiful, but that's the name of a male. Kim is how you say male, or it should have been Kemet Waret, but they didn't know. I knew another girl in the 60s. She called herself Kwame. I said, that means a male child born on Saturday. She said, I like the way it sounds. Okay. You know, so see, if you out of the cultural context, and then some people are so engulfed in the Kemetic legacy, they want to name themselves after the Necharu. So they run around talking about, I'm Amin, I'm Ra, I'm Tahuti. No, you're not. You want to show your connection to this Necha. So when I said I'm Jehutyms, that means one born in the energy of Jehuty. Somebody's called Ni Ma'at. It means I belong to the spirit of Ma'at. Ni Ka Ma'at. I belong to the spirit of Ma'at. See, you're supposed to show your relationship. So it's all right to name yourself, but the problem is usually people name themselves not understanding the cultural context. So it's best to have a priest in that cultural system name. So if you're in the Yoruba system, you should have a Babalao or Ifane, one of the sacred mothers, name you or be involved in your naming ceremony. If you're in the Kemetic legacy, you need a Him Sim Tepi, a high priest, to help you with your naming ceremony. If you're just in the regular culture, maybe you want somebody who's a numerologist and an astrologer to help you with your name so that the vibration is right and the meaning. So there's nothing wrong with naming yourself, but I mean, we be making up names. Shaquina is, you know, stuff that don't mean anything, you know. So that's the danger, you know. So it's not something wrong. If you have the right knowledge and the right information, yes, you can do it. But to me, it's so much more powerful when somebody who is accomplished in the culture that you want to be in helps you with your name. So when I would, at my naming ceremony, when they made me Mfundishi, I had Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Leonard Jeffries was the keynote speaker, Dr. Ben, I had Malana Karenga, I had Baba Heru Akra Samaj, I had them all at my naming ceremony. So to have my peers and my teachers say that I'm a grandmaster, it's better than having a PhD. If Dr. Ben said a PhD means power higher and deeper in the shit. Okay. So,
oh gosh.
So I go by the Kemetic spiritual names. You know, that means much more to me.
Okay. So, and let me, I forgot to say this part to everybody. So I am currently in a class with Mfundishi. And I tell you, I remember things because of his spirit and the way that you say it and the stories that you tell along with it. He teaches a meta-nature class. Actually, you teach a lot of different classes, but the one that I'm in is a basic meta-nature class. Can you first just explain like what meta-nature is that for someone who doesn't know? We'll start there, just what it is.
Okay. The word Madu Necha means the divine words of the creator by an elder. So they assume that the elder who has been tapped into the Necharu and to the culture is speaking with authority and speaking with intellect. So it's divine words of the Necharu, of nature. So, and they use symbols of nature to define these words. So they use animal symbols, symbols of everyday working, symbols of houses, symbols of birds and animals and things like that in nature, because I teach people that there's 5 domains that you must master in order to be on a real high level. The first domain is the mineral domain. See, the sun is a mineral, the stars, the planet, the earth is a mineral, and you are made of stardust, the same material. But if you're ignorant of that, you can't use it to your advantage. Like you got nickel, copper, uranium, you got all that in your body. In fact, if you wear something just with iron in it or magnetism, it helps illuminate the body and help the flow of energy. But if you're ignorant of that, then you miss that. Copper will also help protect you from 5G and all of this stuff bombarding you in that. You got copper in your bottom, and melanated dominated people have more of those elements than folks who don't have melanin. We're carbon-based units. So that's the first domain, the mineral domain. Then you have the plant domain. The plant domain feeds off of the mineral domain. And it's our substance, our food source. You understand? It's our food. It's your medicine and your food, the plant domain. Chlorophyll is to plants as melanin is to animals.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It takes sunlight and turn it into energy that can be utilized for food. Most people who live above Florida, who are melanated people, have a vitamin D deficiency because we don't get enough sun. So that's why I'm outside 8 hours a day. I'm getting my melanin on, even though I'm in New York.
Yeah. Yes.
So I try to tell people, if you have an office, something, go eat your lunch outside. Go for a walk in the park during lunch. After work, walk out. Go for a walk. Go into the forest areas. Go out. Let your feet touch the soil or the grass, you know. But you got to get out in raw. So that's the plant domain. Then the third domain is the animal domain. All animals were here before we were. I'll say it again. All animals were here before we were. We're the last on the scene. Animals are not here. They weren't placed here as our food source. Okay. I saw somebody and they were showing their little girl a rooster. And the mother said, "Baby, what's that?" And she looked at the rooster and she said, "Chicken McNuggets." See, the bird with chicken McNuggets. Like, I mean, that's how bad we are. That's how, we have decrepit. Animals are not your food source. You should be eating a plant-based diet. Okay? And animals that does eat animals don't eat animals that eat animals. Okay, so animals who do eat other animals eat plant-based animals. Okay. And the most powerful, strongest creatures on the planet are vegetarians. There's nothing more powerful than the elephant, nothing more powerful than a gorilla from the Congo, a rhino. All of these things are vegetarians. The buffalo, these are the most powerful land animals. They're all vegetarians.
Wow.
So I just need you to, just to grab that in. Source of protein should come from where the animal getting the protein from. You want to eat the animal protein. No, eat the protein where the animal is getting his from.
Yep, plants. Okay.
So, and if you study animals, so we're going back to the glyphs again. Because we studied the animal domain, we use the glyphs of animals that were important in our culture and that tapped into our consciousness and helped us be better human beings. So the falcon, each king depicted himself as a falcon, Heru, because the falcon is the pelican falcon is the fastest flying bird. No, let me stop. It's the fastest creature on the planet Earth. It can fly at a speed of 280 miles per hour as it swoops down on its enemy. It has an extra eyelid. It's the only creature that can look directly at the sun.
Wow.
While it blinds its opponent, bam, it strikes him in the air and you just see feathers.
Wow.
He can go underwater 20, 30, 40 meters and come out with a fish in his tail line. That means he has to calculate the speed, the bend of light in the water, and the speed of the fish, and he's accurate. And What blows your mind is when he comes out of the water, he's dry. Aerodynamics.
Wow.
So the king is trying to let you know you can't hide, you can't outrun me, and I'm the baddest guy that exists out there. So he depicts himself as a great falcon. Okay. So, but if you don't know nothing about bird, you'd be saying, "Oh man, the king looked like a pigeon." You know, you don't know nothing about nature. You know, you don't even understand the association.
Okay.
So once you understand that, and animals will tell you how to survive in each domain. So if you want to know how to survive in the savannah, the great grasslands, you imitate the predators, the lion, the cheetah, the jaguar, the cobra. You imitate these great predators, right? If you were in the desert, you imitate animals who are surviving in the desert. If you're in the rainforest, you imitate animals who are surviving and flourishing in the rainforest. You see, they're our teachers, not our dinner. Okay.
No chicken nuggets.
No chicken McNuggets. Okay. So now humans don't understand human beings because we don't know nothing about nothing else. We don't know the minerals will make us up. We don't know the plants are supposed to be sustaining us as health-wise and food and medicine. And we're too busy killing all the animals. So we haven't learned about it. And that's the general nature of human beings. We're ignorant. Ignorance is the greatest disease known to man. Ignorance is the greatest disease. And animals and nature is here to teach you. Okay, but we're so busy following the Wazungu who don't know nothing about anything.
Okay, great. Well, I got to back you up. The Wazunga. Explain so everybody knows.
All right, hold on. I'll go back to Wazunga. Let me just do the fifth element. Okay, so we had mineral, plant, animal, then human. Human is supposed to be learning from all of those elements. That makes you so powerful of who you are. And we have the power of speech. That means to be able to express what's in your mind and or what's in your temple, right? And if you take care of your temples, it will help you be on the highest level possible. Your first temple is your mind, spiritual temple. Your second temple is your heart. It connects you to everything around you. Your third temple is your physical body. Keep it toned, clean, in shape, and ready to go. Your fourth temple is your personal home, your shrine, your altar. And the fifth temple is nature, being in the park, in the forest. If you keep them all clean, keep them all on a high spiritual level, they all take care of you. You understand that? Okay. So, and the fifth temple, or the fifth domain, is the spirit domain. And spirit is connected to everything. There's spirit in the minerals, spirit in the plant, spirit in the animals, spirit in the human being. So if you understand, so we got people saying they're spiritual and don't even know what spirit is. If I tell them when the last time you hugged a tree, they would look at me like I was crazy. But they will call themselves, see, we confuse religion with spirituality, and they're not necessarily the same.
Yes.
And sometimes religion dangled the spiritual bone in front of you, but it's not about spirituality. It's about religion, a dogma, a doctrine that keeps you in a box. And so this box is saying our way is the only way. This box says my way is the only way. And this box got a problem with that box. And so all day boxes are fighting each other. When spirituality says, wait a minute, y'all, let's just embrace the universe. Okay. Now let's go back to the Wazungu.
Wazunga.
The Wazungu is a Kiswahili word that talks about melanin deficient, immature soul, backward beings. Or beings that is, I shouldn't say backwards, beings that are anti-nature. So what happened is the Swahili Africa noticed that when they first encountered Europeans, they gave them love and everything, and they got killed and bombed and robbed and raped. They said, what kind of people repay love with that? They thought it was just the Portuguese. Then they ran across the Spaniards, the same thing. Then they ran across the Italians, the same thing. And they began to say, oh, wait a minute, all of these melanin deficient beings have an immature soul, They're not connected to nature. They're actually afraid of the sun. And if the sun is the source of life, who are these people? They have an immature soul that's not evolved, and they're anti-nature. And so the word for that was wazungu. So you're anti-nature. You have an unevolved soul, right? So it means that it's not like a derogatory word, like they call us the N-word or crap or something like that. No, it's defining their nature, their connection to nature. So one European is called the Mzungu.
Mzungu. Okay, Mzungu.
Right, one. But collectively, they're called the Wazungu.
Wazunga. Wow, this is great. You know, so everything is about language. So, okay, so wait, we're not going back, but I just want you to say some more about because you were explaining Medu Necher.
Right.
And before we can get there, we have to understand the 5 domains.
Right.
Okay.
So the Medu Necher is expressing that. It's expressing those 5 domains.
Okay.
So the Medu Necher is teaching you about nature and how to express, how to become one with nature. That's really what it's talking about. How do we become one and empower ourselves within this domain that we call Earth? Okay. And it's scientific. Medu Necher is a scientific language. And when they have these stories and allegories, they're expressing pure science. See, let me make this statement. Science is spirituality that can be seen, felt, touched, measured, and you can see the end results. Spirituality is science that cannot be seen, touched, felt, and measured, but you can still see the end results. So the Western world don't want to use spirituality because you can't control it. You can't measure it. I can't tie it up in a knot and sell it. So they want to give you religion. They can control that. They control spiritualities. Everybody has access to the Creator. Even the person in the gutter has the same access as the Pope or the High Bishop or the High Priest. Everybody has the same access.
That's right. So, you know, in ancient Kemet, was there religion back then?
There was spirituality.
It was always spirituality.
Right. And the Necheru, there were principles and laws that help you understand nature.
Wow.
So everything, like when they said Amen, people say amen at the end of their prayers. That's from Amen. Amen is always depicted cold black, right? And he represents the unseen creative force of the universe. It's like your thoughts. You can't see them, but they're out there. They're energy waves, just like radio waves. That's why sometimes you can read somebody's mind. Sometimes you can finish their sentences. 2 people who've been together for a long time, you know, thinking almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
Words or sound is travel in waves. Thought is travel in waves. The Creator emanates in waves. And we, through our antennas, receive them. So when you pray, you are speaking to the Creator. When you are meditating, you are listening to the Creator.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That's a good. Wow. That's a very good distinction. What you just said. Right. So when you're praying,
and I need to make a distinction. When you pray, prayer should be about gratitude.
Yes.
Most people are begging. God, I need a new woman. God, I need a car. God, I need some money. Ain't nobody listening to that. Just begging. You know, real prayer. In my book, Spiritual Warriors Are Healers, I positive affirmations and real prayer. It is gratitude. You wake up. Thank you, Necher, for giving me another day. Thank you for allowing me to breathe. Thank you for allowing me to love. Thank you for allowing me to grow. Thank you for allowing me to perceive that which other people cannot perceive. Thank you for allowing me to share this information with people who want the information. Because I'm not trying to give this information for people who don't. I learned that when I was in the 9th grade. When I was in the 9th grade, I became a lifeguard. And in the lifeguard test, they explain you can't save everybody. Some people, you'll try to save them and they will drown you.
That's very true.
And so we had 4 or 5 different techniques of how we help people. Sometimes you just stuck a pole out there and told them to grab it. Sometimes you actually had to knock somebody out and drag them to the ocean, to the side, because they will kill you. You had to actually put them almost in the chokehold to help them. And as I got older, I said, wow, the lessons I learned there, I use as a teacher. You know, you got to want to be saved.
You have to want to be saved. Yeah.
And I got to understand, I can't save everybody. Yeah. And I have to be okay with that. And I have a philosophy, and you'll hear me say it. People have the right to be crazy. They do.
Yeah.
And I don't have the right to interfere with that. Long as they're not violating my space or my family's space, they have the right to be crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You just can't be crazy on me. Okay.
Yeah. Can't be crazy on me.
Yeah. You know, and a person has the right to choose their own poison. They can kill themselves if they want. They got the right to do that. And I don't have the right to interfere unless they ask me. Yeah. Now I can say, well, you know, if you put that soda down, maybe you wouldn't be so hyper. Maybe your blood pressure wouldn't be so high. Maybe you wouldn't have all the pimples all over your face. Maybe, you know, I can kind of help them, but they got to ask.
Yeah.
When I'm at my table, people come to my table, and I'm a feeler and a seer. I can see if you need to be checking into the hospital. But I can't tell people, look, you better take this crystal or you better have a stroke tomorrow. I can't do that. If they ask me, Mfundishi, what kind of crystal you think might be good for me? You know, and I might ask them, well, what kind of mission are you on? I want to know what you're doing in your life right now. They say, well, you know, I'm going to school. I'm trying to do something. Oh, okay. So you need something to help you retain information and energy and things like that. Let me suggest these crystals here for you. Then I might ask, what is your birthday? What astrological sign? What zoomorphic sign you can? Okay. Now I know what crystals they handed you to help you on your journey. So, okay. So you're an Aquarius. Oh, so you might need amethyst. You might need garnet. You might need jade. You might need a piece of lapis lazuli. You know, I can help them. So I can ask you what's your mission. I can ask you what's your numerology. I can ask you what's your astrology, or I can just ask you how do you feel, or what do you want to accomplish. I'm broke. I'm broke. I ain't got no money. And I say, first of all, you need to change your dialogue. Don't claim that.
Yeah.
Just say my funds is low.
Yes. Yeah. That's a temporary cash flow problem right now.
Right. That's my funds is low. But I remember the elders just always say my ship is coming in. They're still waiting for the ship to come in. Okay, all right. But,
oh my gosh. Yeah.
But you got to speak what you want. So you might say, well, right now my funds is a little low, but I'm getting ready to go big. I'm getting ready. My cash is getting ready to flow. I'm getting ready to make some dynamic business changes. And I say, okay, what you need is citrine. Citrine is energy. It's operating under solar plexus. It's going to help you think about helping the flow of energy and money. You need some aventurine, which is going to give you a boast of confidence to be able to fulfill what you're thinking. And then maybe you need this iron pyrite. So you put those 3 together, and I'll put them in a little pouch for you. And you think economics, think change, think prosperity. Don't think about your funds being low. Okay, and never claim to be broke.
Okay? Yeah.
Don't even speak that way. So change your dialogue, change your thinking, because see, this is your bank account, your consciousness.
Yes.
And your awareness of how you use your consciousness. You hear what I say? Your awareness on how you use your consciousness. Unfortunately, the Wazungu have used this consciousness to exploit people.
Yeah.
So when they get rich, you heard this word, he was filthy rich.
Yeah.
That means that, you know, you got your money through drugs, through slavery, to exploiting people. That's how you get filthy rich.
Yeah.
And the filthy rich don't associate with the new rich who got their money honestly, because the filthy rich think that they're better.
Yeah.
So that's old money versus new money, So you got class, even among the rich, they got classes. Oh, he can't move in the neighborhood. He just got his money. We stole our money a long time ago.
Exactly. So, all right. So when we're praying, we pray for gratitude, and when we meditate, we meditate for answers.
Yes.
So, okay, and I know you teach a meditation class as well.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about that, and just in terms of like, how do we go about meditating? Like how do we do that?
Well, the first thing you need to do is to quiet your world down so that you can listen to the Creator. Most of us are overstimulated. So when you try to be meditating, you're thinking about dinner, thinking about this hot date you got, thinking about all the stuff you got to do, thinking about bills you got to pay. And so you can't hear the Creator. So the reason why certain people chant mantras is so that they can block out all the rest of the world. So you're chanting, You're
concentrating on that.
Right. So after you do that, you block the outside world out. Once you can block the outside world out, now you can listen to the Creator. Now you can get premonitions. Now you can begin to think and get answers. Okay. So the key is mastering your breath. So breathing is the key to good meditation. So you should only be breathing about 5 breaths per minute. So when you breathe in, your stomach expands. When you breathe out, your stomach goes in. You've been taught the opposite way. You've been taught macho. Breathe out with your chest. And then, no, that's wrong. When you breathe, your chest shouldn't even move. Your diaphragm, your stomach should be expanding and retracting. In through the nose and out through the nose. Most people teach in through the nose and out the mouth. No. In ancient Kemet, if you're in a desert situation and you're breathing out your mouth, you perch your mouth, it's dry, and you're subject to die of thirst out there. If I roll my tongue on the bridge of my mouth, keep my mouth closed, and breathe out my nose, I keep all the moisture inside.
Okay.
See, so there's an Asian way, and then there's the African way. All babies in the world are breathing the African way until they look at their parents, and then they switch up because they're great imitators.
Yeah.
They see their parents going, and then by the time they're 1 or 2, they start breathing like that. But if you look at all little children, they breathe correctly through the diaphragm because the nature is showing them how to breathe and how to use, and then their parents mess them up. So once you can do that, now you can concentrate on inner things. One thing Kemet has taught us is that when you are living a life of ma'at, and that's truth, justice, righteous, harmonious, balance, reciprocity, that you learn gratitude and you give it because it is ma'at. And the reward for ma'at is to receive ma'at. Not gold, diamonds, riches. To give ma'at is to receive ma'at. Once you're in the state of ma'at, then you can create all the wealth you want or whatever you want. So this is your bank account right here and how you relate to the world. Okay. You heard that expression, what goes around comes around?
Yes.
That's still Kemetic teaching. Okay. Now watch this. If true gratitude is shared between any 2 energies, that's you and a mineral, you and a plant, you and an animal, you and another human being, you in the spirit world, secrets are exchanged. When they asked George Washington Carver, how did you invent 300 things from 1 peanut? He said, I talked to it. I loved it. I gave it unconditional love and gratitude, and it told me all the secrets.
Wow.
How do you think herbologists, original herbologists, knew what plant? They just didn't go around tasting every plant. until they didn't die anymore. Right?
Yeah.
That's like a dangerous profession then. If
Yeah.
you got to taste and do a scientific to see if you live. You need a Mikey with you. Here, Mikey, taste this. And then check if he dies or not. No. This unconditional love, a relationship with the plants. They get up early in the morning. They mist it. They fondle the leaves. They water it. They talk to it. And then the plant releases its secrets.
Mm.
And you know. And I mean, even when I'm writing, I have a relationship with whatever I'm writing with. And it is so unconditional. All the secrets are being bestowed upon me. And so many things that I know, I was never taught by a teacher. Many things I know, I got a direct download from the spirit world.
Wow. Direct download. I like that.
A direct download. So you don't need a middle person. You don't need, the Pope ain't got no red phone to the creator. Okay. You have direct access. Okay. But you got to be living a certain way, eating a certain way. You can't be at Popeyes thinking you're going to get a premonition. No, you're going to get some indigestion. That's what you get ready to get.
Oh, God, not the Popeyes.
Okay, so the Kemetic spiritual system is best learned through the Medu Neter, not from reading Egyptology books.
Okay.
Because you're reading somebody outside of the culture telling you about your culture, which they don't know nothing about.
Mm.
Remember, they're the Wazungu.
Yes.
So non-spiritual people trying to translate a spiritual text is going to miss it.
Yeah.
We understood about the pineal gland. And so you have the Ujat, this all-seeing eye.
Okay.
And it lets you know that for example, the pineal gland is released inside of the fetus and created on the 49th day of inception.
Okay.
And during that, and at that 49th day, sex is determined, and your mission is given to you through your pineal gland.
Wow. Okay. Wait. All right. Now, so when you, all right, so this is in your body, you're just living your life, you're born, you're just living your life. How do you connect to your purpose? You know, and why does it seem like some people just, you know, they're like, oh, this is my purpose, and they just know it. Like how does that work? Okay.
Some people are more receptive to this energy than others, but everybody can learn. Those people who are not real receptive, in the ancient world, they had priests who their job was to aid you. Some people naturally know, just like you just mentioned, some people naturally know what their purpose is. They got this feeling, this drawing, they just got to do it. Okay. And so no one needs to tell them about it. They just need to refine it. Right. But other people are clueless. So this is where the priests are there. In fact, in some naming ceremonies in Africa, the child isn't named till like the 7th or 8th day, or they go a whole week before they name the child, because now they want to observe the child. They want to see what is his idiosyncrasies, what does he like to do, how does he move,
okay,
is he very calm or whatever, and then they will give the name of the child based upon that. Okay, so they've actually looked into the person. Some priests can touch the mother's womb and communicate with the child while he's still in the womb. And the child will tell him what his name is. Now, let me say this here. Children still in the mother's womb have rapid eye movement. The only reason why you have rapid eye movement is because you're dreaming. What are they dreaming about? They didn't get here yet.
Wow, they're getting the download.
Babies in the womb are smiling and laughing. Yeah. They don't know Richard Pryor. What are they laughing about? They're being downloaded information from the cosmos. They're in the 4th dimension in the womb. Right now, me and you are communicating on the 3rd dimension. They're in the fourth dimension. So they understand everything the mother is doing. And if the mother is traumatized, the baby's traumatized too.
Mm.
If the mother's getting beat by, a man, the baby is feeling that. The baby can recognize the father's voice inside of the womb.
Wow.
And react. In other words, the baby is there and there's a whole lot of people in the room, and then the father's voice will speak, and the baby inside of the womb reacts to the father's voice. He already knows. Okay? So you got an intelligent creature in the fourth dimension knowing all of this. When the water breaks, he loses his memory as he comes into the 3D. He descends. Not ascend, he descends into the third dimension. And now he has to learn all these things all over again to try to get back up to the fourth and then the fifth dimension.
Mm.
So when he becomes the master, the grandmaster, now he's moved back to the fourth dimension. Now, when he looks at the world, he doesn't see the world how the average person sees the world.
Oh, it's like the Matrix.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Just like the Matrix. You remember when Neo, after he got shot and he came back to life, he started seeing numbers and everything.
Yeah.
He saw everything differently. He saw waves of energy.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's what happens when you start to get reborn. So when I'm walking down the street and you're walking down the street, we don't see the same thing.
Mm.
I see all the stuff you see, but you don't see the stuff I see. Because your awareness is different. Here's a perfect example. A new car just came out, but it's been out for 6 months. And today is the first day you noticed it. You go, wow, look at that. What is that? You go, oh man, that's that new deuce in the quarter. You go, oh man, I really like that. Now, after that, you see it all over the place now. Every place you look, it was there before, but you were not conscious of it.
Mm.
So that's the way things are in nature. If you haven't been exposed to it, your eyes haven't been open, it's right in front of your face and you don't see it. Wow. There's edible food. People starve to death and edible fruit is all around them. There's people who are dropped off in the snowstorm, like in the mountains and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they start eating each other because they can't find no food. Mm. But there's trees there. There's deer that live out there. So they're digging up roots and everything. They're eating the snow. How come you ain't got to start eating the people? You ever see those old cartoons where you look at somebody and they look like a drumstick or a turkey?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a limited consciousness, okay?
That's a limited consciousness.
Right, so they're going back to the Wazungu stage.
Okay, I don't want to go to that stage. So a way of developing your consciousness is doing all these things. It's praying, it's meditating, it's learning the original language. Yeah. So now, so you were talking about spirituality, and I see a couple people in the comment section is asking, what is spirit? Bantu. Right. We like Bantu. Yeah. Bantu is always supporting us. He wants to know, what is spirit?
Spirit is the essence of the creator. In my book, Spiritual Warriors Are Healer, the first chapter, I deal with that. Okay, let me just say that. There's no such thing as nothingness. Everything is connected to the one. The one, which is a consciousness, is spirit. And this spirit came out of hydrogen. Hydrogen is the first element. And from hydrogen and nitrogen, that's why on the periodic chart, you have hydrogen and then you have nitrogen. And then all other elements are how that is affected with itself. And so this black plasmic energy is a consciousness. And it evolved into a consciousness of awareness. The only difference between people or someone who was alive and someone is dead is awareness. The spirit is aware of its existence. That's why in the early books it says, I am that I am. Meaning I am part of this one consciousness. Everything is part of the one.
Part of the one.
That's why I can read your thoughts. That's why with my mind, I can move objects because we are connected. That's why in the martial arts, I can break 3 bricks or just only break the bottom brick because I can send my energy only to the bottom brick. So awareness is conscious of this energy force. And the more you're aware, the more of the energy you can bring in. Okay. So I need to make that. So spirit is awareness of this energy. See, if you're aware of it, now I can use it to my advantage.
You can use
about
it.
gravity. Right. So spirit is an energy, and it's the energy of the. See, the Europeans have messed us up so bad. We think of God as somebody, and usually some white man in the sky, right? Long white beard with a cane, okay. Just like, and we think of it having a sex. No, the spirit is an energy force. It's a giant consciousness. A giant consciousness. And everything in the cosmos is this consciousness. And the consciousness is observing itself through us. Now, that might sound confusing, but let me explain something. A quark is the smallest entity that a human being can see under electromagnetic magnifying glass. The quark is the smallest unit that it can see. Okay. Smaller than the atom, all the way down, right? And when you look at a quark through this electromagnetic microscope, it appears and then it vanishes. It appears, then it vanishes. And guess what? When I look at it, it might vanish when it appears to you. So it reacts to the observer. So the observer is part of the creator, observing itself. So I know people get upset when they say, I'm God-like, man is God. No, you are a mini version of the creator. You have the ability to think of something as a pure energy wave and then manifest it into a reality. Wow. Like you might get a picture of your house or your apartment in your mind. Then you drew it out. Then you got to architect it. And then you build it. So you manifested it. Well, that's what the creator does with the universe. It's a thought. And then it takes this energy, hydrogen, all these things, and put it together, everything on the periodic chart, and it creates. So Shu and Tefnut are like his canvas and paint. Shu is boundless space. That's his canvas. Wow. Like an artist has to have his canvas.
Yeah.
And Tefnut is the moisture in the gases. That's his paint. So he takes his board and he creates. Have you ever seen a nebula? How beautiful a nebula looks? And a nebula gives birth to stars and planets. Yeah. It's like the womb. A nebula is like a womb, an incubator, like a womb. That under pressure in there, the pressure and the heat, and when it explodes, it gives off, it creates suns and planets and moons and stuff like that. Well, that's all a consciousness. So spirit is recognition of the consciousness that's in a tree. Spirit is recognizing the consciousness and the vibration in a stone, a crystal, a mountain. And how do we know this? Remember I talked about unconditional love? Mm-hmm. So maybe at an early stage in our development, you felt that when you were near certain mountains, you felt a certain way. You didn't feel the same way in the valley. When you got near the mountains, things became clearer. Maybe it was the minerals in that mountain.
Yes.
Okay? When you're near running water, you feel good. Negative ions are created.
Yes, yes.
Pimples around the water areas, like that. See, so we began to home in on that because you were in tune with nature. You weren't overstimulated like you are now. So early man, and you see, you had to get. Let me say this. The reason why almost all math and science and astronomy, astrology was all created in the HAPI Valley in Africa is because, first of all, we're the oldest creatures, humans on the planet.
Yeah.
Actually, we're the only humans. Other people are humankind. The Asiatics and the Wazungu are humankind, kind of like a human. They come from us, okay? We're the only real humans, okay? And because we had this long love affair with nature. You see, we had a love affair with nature. And nature gave up its secrets. So we were the first herbalists. You see what I'm saying? We were the first priests. We are the first mythologists. We're the first people to speak words. Okay. The Twa people, short people who are the first people probably on the planet, have more sounds than any other people on the planet. And they speak with a click. And they have more sounds. For example, the Hawaiians only got like 17 sounds, where the Twa got 100 and something different sounds.
Wow.
So the longer we were here, the more sophisticated we became with our movement and our sounds. So it's how you were connected to nature. Most of our African languages have a smooth rhythm to it.
Yeah.
If you speak in Russian and German, it has this hard click.
Yeah.
That's
trying to get it out.
So and the Asians, I don't know what's up with them. Okay, but it's a different connection to nature. And so we expressed it differently, So the sounds, this rhythm, this flow. And melanin helps the flow of energy transaction smooth. You remember in class, I talked about what melanin does, the melatonin and the serotonin.
Yes.
How it helps you, the vibration. So if you don't have a lot of melanin, things become sporadic. It doesn't have a flow. So that's why most white people can't dance. Because it's not a flow. It's not a flow.
Wow, you're correct.
That it's like you be saying, do they hear what I hear? You don't hear that drum beat? Whoa, you don't hear that bass up in there? And they be like all in between the beat. In fact, it's hard to do what they do. It's hard to be moving in between the beat,
Yeah, it can't be. I can't do that. Like, there's no way.
It's difficult. You hurt yourself trying to do it. And listen, I was talking with my former mate one time who was teaching dance, and she said that when the Wazunga were in the class, they have the clavic, the bell, keeping the rhythm. Boom, 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 boom. And so you had to move to the beat of this bell. And then you learn to sing the song, right? And the song goes with the beat. The white people in the class were trying to move to the words of the song.
Wow.
Not the beat. Wow. Can you imagine you trying to dance to the words? And you don't hear the beat? So their connection to nature is different. Now they can learn, because you have some Europeans, Wazunga, who can dance just as good as black people, right?
Yeah.
But it's a programming. They have to be raised in it. They start dancing at 2, 3 years old, and mother put them in a class, and then they become, But watch this connection. I'm going to take one more thing and explain this connection. Melanin. Right now, every running event in track and field is owned, the world's record is by an African.
Yep.
Now, you think that's a coincidence? It's because of these connections I'm talking about. When we're running the sprints, it's like, white people, y'all can't get in this event. This is ours. But we know they can get in it, just that they can't win. Okay?
Yeah.
Because the energy that it takes to explode and that connection, melanin is involved in it. And let me say this, the Europeans who are the best at these sports are dark hair Europeans. Blue-eyed blondes don't hold no records there.
Yeah.
In fact, they're the most recessive. And we've done reverse psychology, and you got them thinking they're the prettiest and the best.
You know what? Yeah, let's talk about this reverse psychology, because it seems like, it seems like all the things that are really good for us, the things that we should be doing, that we almost have a disdain for.
Right. That's a programming. Somebody had to program you to do that.
Yeah.
And just think about it. Look, they still do the doll test, the black and white doll test, and it's the same as it was in 1950. What's the good doll? The white doll. What's the bad doll? The black doll. What's the pretty doll? The white doll. What's the bad doll? White doll. What's pretty hair? The straight hair. What's nasty hair? The kinky hair. You see, that's not 2020.
Yeah. So
the same results. That's the programming.
That's the programming. So what things? Oh, go ahead.
Right. When we're marching out here talking about Black Lives Matter, we should be talking about taking control of the schools. We should be talking about re-educating our babies, not sitting down to dinner with white folks, not being able to sit on the toilet next to white folks, as Malcolm would say.
Yeah.
We need to be controlling the stores, the economy, and the businesses.
Yeah.
We need to take control of our life.
Yes. So you know what? Speaking on that that line of thinking. So can you just talk to us, because I see you have your HAPI shirt on.
Yes.
That's circa like 2 years ago, I think. Beautiful. So can you explain first what HAPI is and how civilization developed around the HAPI?
Yes. Well, HAPI is literally the name of the longest river in the world. The river we call the Nile River today was called HAPI. And it was HAPI of the North and HAPI of the South, Mahet and Rashid. And HAPI was a cultural highway that developed the world's first and greatest economy. It brought the culture from the interior of Africa all the way to the eye and to the mouth, which was called Kemet. Okay, so everything so HAPI.
I was trying to see. I was trying to get that. I was trying to get that so you so they can see it, but I can't for some reason. You almost gonna have to stand up and show them.
Can I see HAPI now?
Yes. There we go. Yes.
Okay, so HAPI was a source of the economy. It showed you how to use a cultural highway so that everyone could benefit. So it was for navigation, it was for transportation, it was for export and import. And it was just for leisure, and it was for water. So it was against the law to defile the water of HAPI. If you got caught peeing in the HAPI River, you got flogged in the town square.
Wow.
Because that was your source of life. In ancient Kemet, it's less than 1 inch of rain per year. It basically doesn't rain. All the water has to come from the HAPI River. So water became precious. So again, it's this respect for nature. Okay, so you had to have a complete respect for nature. And so the HAPI was that. And so the economy was around HAPI. They were able to build the pyramids. All the pyramids are near water sources, because you need the water to make the mixtures. You need water for the workers. You need waters for transportation. You know, all the major temples are near the water. When I take people to ancient Kemet, we go to all the temples via the HAPI River, the Nile River. It docks, and then you go to the temple that way. Not driving down the highway. Or, you like to go just the way the ancients did. So this HAPI River was the source of everything. It was the source of transportation, education, commerce, socialization. It was the source of everything. So now, when we want to learn about economy, we're going to go to the master of economy. And even in Asia, you had the Tigris and Euphrates River. The Tigris and Euphrates River became the source of knowledge in Asia. Wow. And you had the Yangtze River and the Yellow River in China. You know, so we always surround waterways and rivers, okay? The Amazon in South America, okay, which is the second largest river in the world.
Yeah.
And so there's so much information on HAPI. So Brother Taki had the insight to, once he understood how powerful HAPI was, to call this film HAPI, if we want to go back to recapture our mind, to show how great we were. Once you know what you are capable of doing, then you're capable of doing it again.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
Capable of doing it again. Once you know you got the confidence that you can do it, and that you taught the world.
Yeah.
And you didn't give up all your secrets. So you still got some secrets.
Yeah.
But the key is to get our right minds back. So that's why I teach the Madu Necha, the sacred language of our ancestors. Because when you're reading this, it's like it's you get a direct hotline to your ancestors without a middleman, without a middle person.
Yeah. There's it's so much in like one symbol or one letter. It's so much. And, I was just thinking when you were talking about all this stuff, I'm like, so from the beginning of time, like we did a lot of things in a short amount of time. We developed a whole language. We built pyramids. really developed philosophy and spirituality. Like there's a, like we were really busy. Yeah. And so, so when we're looking at all these things, what, like, how do you get started? Like what, if you're sitting there, you're like, I really want to just tap in to who I'm supposed to be and live a way I'm supposed to live. Like, how do you get started? Like, where do you?
Okay, you see, this is where the Kemetic legacy is so different from all other things than a religion. When we have the 42 laws of Ma'at, the 42 oracles of Ma'at, that tells you how you're supposed to be living.
Yes.
You're supposed to be one. It's basically telling you to be one with nature and to be an ally with nature. To respect your fellow man as the way you would respect your fellows as yourself. Not to cheat anyone, not to defile anyone. It even says in the 42 oracles, don't make anyone cry. I will not defile another man's wife. I will not. A woman will not defile another woman's husband. It even tells you if you not even to masturbate, fornicate too much. To yourself, that's an abomination. It tells you a man should not lie down with another man. So, a woman should not lie down with another woman sexually. It's telling you that's in the so it's giving you some guidelines on how to live your life. And now, how do I become one with? You can't become one with nature unless you understand nature. So we go back to my formula again: understand the mineral domain, plant domain, animal domain. Now you understand your place in the human domain.
Yeah.
And when I say that, let me go back to a question you asked earlier about people who don't know what their purpose is. What a priest does is go back and they begin to look, okay, what did Mother Nature give you? And we began to look at what are your gifts?
What are your gifts?
Or what are your talents? Sometimes your talent has nothing to do on what you're supposed to be. Sometimes your talent are tools to get to where you're supposed to be. Like some people can sing good. So they think they're just supposed to be a singer, make a life living doing that. No. Singing is a tool to open up some doors to be able to do what you want to do. It's like Muhammad Ali at one time became the most noted face on the planet Earth. More people knew what Muhammad Ali looked like than the president of any country. So he became a diplomat where he can go and talk to people where the president couldn't go. Or the Pope couldn't go. So boxing was a tool to make him one of the most recognizable faces on the planet so that he can do this charitable work. You see what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
So that was a tool. Certain athletes are able to do, they're only going to be an athlete for about 10 years. So they have to be able to use that skill now. What are they going to do after the sport?
Yeah, transition to something. Yeah.
So they have to understand that that's not their life. That was a tool to help forge their life. So a priest might help you be able to discern that. Because some people will spend their life trying to be a singer and go bust and then never make it because they couldn't get a hit, they couldn't get an album contract. Right? But not understanding that was just a tool. That's not their whole career. So that's why sometimes you need to come to a priest to look at your life objectively. See, sometimes when you're in the midst of the chaos, you can't be objective about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you need somebody who can stand outside of that and say, well, if your hand had done this and that, maybe you still have something, And maybe if you save a little bit here and open up and diversify and maybe rent out, one of your houses or do something like this here to get some passive income coming in, maybe you'll be able to work something. You need somebody outside of you to help with your portfolio that will help you do what you need to do.
Yes. Oh, yes. I third, second, third, fourth that. Yeah. So, one of the things that, that we can not have a conversation about, before we leave here is talking about the ancestors. How do we, first of all, just describe, not describe, but just tell what are ancestors. And this is 101 for people who are just, there's always people who don't know. But like, what are ancestors and how do we access them? And
okay, I'm gonna go back to what is spirit, right? Remember, spirit is everything. Everything is connected to the one spirit. Okay. Energy cannot be destroyed or created. It can only be transformed from one state to another. Did you learn that in science?
Yes.
Yes, most people learned that in science.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you just take that formula, that means that whatever was, is, and will always be.
Yes.
So all the energy that is here is the creator. And so all of us are borrowing a little piece of the creator for a short period of time, and then we return back. Okay. Malcolm taught me to break it down so that a 5-year-old can understand it.
Yeah. Well, I understand.
So now what we're seeing is that so that everybody is connected. And some of us, through awareness, understand a divine entity. And we're divine beings. We're divine spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yeah.
And the experience is an awareness of this energy. But this energy didn't just come into being when your mother gave birth to you. This energy that made you up was always here. It just got transformed into another state. Remember, it can't be created or destroyed, only transformed from one state to another.
One state to another.
So when people talk about the population growing, no, it's energy just being transformed to other states within that population. The same amount of energy is still here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now.
And do you always come back? I'm sorry. Do you always, your energy, when it's transformed, does it always come back in human form?
No, not necessarily. So let me finish the cycle here. Okay. So we know that all energy is part of the one. So you come forth as a premonition, you come forth as an energy to complete a mission. Let's just say this whole thing is a puzzle. So each person that's born is part of as a puzzle piece. So that's why you're supposed to be following a mission, because now you fit into the puzzle piece to help create the whole package.
Yes.
Okay. If you didn't complete your mission, then you got to come back again. Sometimes you just didn't learn nothing. So you got to come back and try it again.
Yeah.
Now, let me here. Sometimes you might have 10 trips back. Some of us only get one. Some of us mess up so bad, Chris, that's it. I ain't bringing you back.
Oh, no.
And your energy just get dispersed into the universe. But other people get a chance to come back. And the judgment scene in the Kemetic legacy that you see in my book, Spiritual Warrior, shows that. So it has Inpu taking you to the scales, and then they weigh your heart. That's your deeds and the actions while you were on this planet. And if you've been just and it's been balanced, then you get a chance to Heru to take you to his father, Asar. And Asar then checks your organs. See, because your organs won't lie and can't be tricked. If you say, Asar said, have you been eating right? Yes, Asar, I've been eating right every day. I had a complete vegetarian diet, and I only drink good water and good juice. But your colon is all backed up and shriveled up. No, you've been lying. Your lungs is black. No, I never smoked. Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, your lungs is tar. So that's why we check the organs. And that's why in the mummification process, the Sahu, they would take out the organs and cleanse them and wrap them. So they can be inspected. Okay. So now, if you were found unjust and that scale dropped, there's a creature called Amamet. And Amamet is part of 4 different animals, like a crocodile, a lion, a hippo, and all that. And he devours you.
Oh.
No, but it's all souls, not no physical. Only the spirit is coming. The soul is coming forth. He devours the soul. You never saw Amamet with a foot hanging out of his mouth or a hand sticking out.
Okay.
It's spiritual. It's all a soul. It's just energy. So Amumet devours your energy, and you come back as the excrements of him to try this all over again.
To try this all over again.
Those who transcend become immortal and become angels, become one. So if you pass the test, your deeds are good. You've been found Ma'akaru, true voice, and Asar ascends you, and then you join the great sea of ancestors. Ancestors are energies that have been here before that are no longer in the physical form. Now, there are some ancestors that are the spiritual form that's still around because they still got jobs to do. They still got energies and other tests. You had physical tests in your physical body. Some spirit energy has spiritual tests.
Okay.
So they could ascend to become one. The whole objective is just to be, see, only thing that really exists is heaven. I know this is hard to comprehend right away, but heaven is the only thing that really exists. All of this other stuff you see is an illusion. And once the illusion is gone, like Neo in the Matrix, now you begin to see the real world, which is heaven. Okay.
Wow. Wow.
And so the ancestors are here to teach us. So we have a council of ancestors. Those are the ones who created math, science, mathematics, architecture, engineer, medicine. Then we have esteemed elders, and the esteemed elders are following the ancestors. Then you have experts who are experts in all the various fields. And the experts are supposed to be connected to the elders who are connected to the ancestors. So if you're an expert, you're just out there, you know, Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
You know, so you got these facts, but you're not helping nobody. You're not building a nation. You're not helping people be better people. You're just an expert at your little field. So your experts have to be connected to the elders who are connected to the spiritual world, who are connected to the ancestors. Then you have your media. So right now you're acting as an expert scribe. And the scribe's job is to bring the common people to connect them to the experts who are connected to the elders, who are connected to the ancestors, who are connected to the creator. So the problem is we don't have enough dynamic scribes like yourself, especially as beautiful as you are. Okay? we need more scribes.
You made my day, Mfundishi.
We need more dynamic expert scribes that connect to see, and then the schools have to be connected to the scribes.
Okay.
So you get your teachers from the experts, and now the students are aspiring to be experts, aspiring to be the elders, to keep the connection to the ancestors who are connected to the creator. So you have this cycle that continues, and it's self-perpetuating.
Wow. I had to take a little deep breath. So a way that you're accessing these ancestors, I know you talked about like meditation, and you talked about altars and shrines. Right. Can you explain, how do we get that through line so we can get that download, that direct download?
In ancient Kemet, there were no churches, no temples and synagogues for religion. Church was nature and their home. Those temples were sacred educational centers. Okay, so your home was your church. Remember when I was talking about those 5 temples, the mind, the heart, the body, your sacred shrine, altar, your home, then nature. Okay, so nature is your church, and then your home is your church. Then your body, you worship and take care of your body, and then your heart, and then your mind. Okay, and so it became important for us. We built these altars, which were portals for divine energy of the ancestor spirit. Originally, the temples were built on grid points, energy points. Like there's these vortexes on the planet Earth where energy fields are emanated, and portals for spirits to move in and out. all the aliens, I don't want to get off the track, but all the aliens are here, didn't just zip here in the spaceship. Some just came through portals and just appeared. Like wormholes and portals that just open up. Yeah. When I was inside of the pyramid of Senefu in Egypt, the father of Khufu for the Great Pyramid, when you went inside of his pyramid, there was a chamber in a room where there's a giant hole in the ground, and there's monolithic stones that have been worn away from weather. That means these stones are literally thousands of years old before the pyramids were built.
Wow.
It can't rain in the pyramid, so it didn't get weathered in the pyramid. That means the pyramid was built over top of a sacred portal system already. And so all these pyramids, remember, so it's above, so below. So all these pyramids is just not arbitrary. It wasn't like, oh, let's just put it over there. Let's just build it right. No, these were grid. It was a sacred spot, sacred prime meridians, these energy grids around them. And they built them. And sacred temples all around the world. In my book, Spiritual Warriors, I show you where these sacred spots are all around the planet. Yeah. And the first Europeans in Europe went and studied there at these places where Africans had set up these portals. Yeah. And then they got scholarships to come to Kemet. And so when you are building your temple and your home, and you have your shrine or your altar, that becomes a portal for spirit ancestors to come through. So when you pour your libation, when you light your candle and your incense, you're creating an atmosphere that's conducive for the spirit to be invited in.
Okay.
And you have to remember, when you invite them in, you also got to send them back.
What do you mean send them back?
They don't belong in this world. They belong in the spirit world. They only come here to guide you and aid you on your mission.
Okay.
So you need to send them back to their world so that they can complete their mission. Sometimes their mission is to help you, but not to hang around you all day.
I like hanging around. I feel like there's somebody around me I can talk with.
Me and Rob was just hanging out this weekend. We had nothing else to do. You know, I had a cold beer with Patah. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay. So you what? The opening of the way. Amin Ra Nasut Nature, Atin Ra Nebenank, Jehuti Heru Nepu, De Enu Ank Ujasaneb. Anajarak Amen, Anuk Amen, Amen. Anajarak Mut, Anuk Mut, Mut. Anajarak Kunsu, Anuk Kansu, Kansu. Okay. You're evoking these powerful energies. You're saying, I give homage to you, Amen, the unseen creative force of the universe. Come into my life. I am part of you. I am you. Help me manifest. Great Mother, Mut, come into my life. Give me that feminine energy so that I can balance myself out and do the things that I need to do to fulfill my mission. Come, Kansu, the son of the great mind, who is the earth, the sun and the moon, who controls my balance and energy and emotions. Help me be a better divine person so that I can complete my mission. You see that? Come and guide me. Right? So you ask them to come, and they come and they give you energy, information, or they help your meeting. And then after your meeting is over, you don't want them just hanging around now like Casper the Friendly Ghost or something, you know. Now you set them back. Thank you for being with us. May you go back to the spirit world so that you can become even stronger the next time we want your energy. You see that?
Yeah.
See, this is why it's hard for people just to teach themselves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. You got to be with a grandmaster. There's no way.
Yeah, you need a guy. Yeah. Okay. And so that's what happens. So now each person in their home got this like a communication with your ancestors. So you never put a altar for the living and the dead on the same one.
Okay.
So you have an altar for the dead, the deceased, and then you got an altar for the living.
So, and what do you, on your altar, what do you put on your altar?
Well, first of all, you always have to have the elements. So you need water.
Water.
So you can do that in terms of a bowl of water. You need minerals, so you can put crystals on it. And it could be the crystals that's helping you on your mission, or the crystals that represent your astrological energy. You want a plant, put a plant on it, so you're showing life, some earth with a plant in it. Okay. You want a candle for light. Okay, showing like Ra, the sun, so that candle representing light. Okay, so you got your 4 elements. You got earth, you got air. You want to burn incense, so you have something where you can burn incense.
Okay.
So you have earth, you have air, you have fire, the candle, and you got water. So you got and then ether is the scent. So that's where you have your incense, and then that's your room.
Okay.
Your brain is sitting on top of your nasal cavity. So as you inhale through the nose, your whole brain lights up right away.
Yeah.
If you breathe it wrong, your brain is getting leftover unoxidated blood. Your brain uses more oxygen than any other part of your body. So that's why breathing. That's why when you panic, you can't breathe.
Yeah.
You get no oxygen to the brain.
Yeah.
If you relax, now you can think your way out. What's the proper thing to do? Okay. So you have your altar with the elements. If it's for you, you want to put your affirmations on there, things that you want to accomplish, things that you need to do. You want to put them on there so that you're attentive to it every day. If it's an ancestor altar, you want to put maybe a picture of your grandmom, your mom, people who are deceased, or objects from them, because their energy is on those objects. So even if you don't have a picture of them, you might have a grandma's old shoe or something, or sweater, or a button, or some hair. That's why spiritual guides can just take a piece of your clothing and they can manipulate energy. That's why a dog can find you. All you got to do is give him a sniff of your sweater. And I don't care if you're running through, he can find you, because there's an energy wave and you leave a wave of energy behind you. Certain trackers, human beings, we have that ability too. We've just lost it because we live in a house. When you live in a house, you deaden the membranes in your sinuses. So if you're retarding your dog when you keep him in the house all the time. So a house dog can't even survive in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Okay. So people who live outside and people who spend a lot of time, their senses are heightened and a little different from us. Okay, because they're connected to nature different.
Yeah. And I noticed that you say that your prayers in Medu Neter. Is that like it's?
I always do. I either say it in Swahili or Medu Neter. Usually I do both. I do an ancestor connection and the spiritual language culture connection, because my ancestors don't know English. This is like maybe only the second or third generation that know English.
Wow.
So if I'm trying to connect with they don't know what I'm talking about. I need to translate. So when I translate, that's for you right here in this world. Other than that, I'm talking to the. If I'm trying to communicate with Ursa Ma'at Ra Satepin Ra, and I'm talking about, yo, blood, do you hear me? You don't know what I'm saying. Right? So I'm speaking a language, so when I speak Swahili or whatever, I'm connecting to a culture ancestors are connected to. Okay.
Yeah. So, one of the things you were talking about when you were saying this, you talked about the pyramids, and like they just say, oh, let's put the pyramid over here and over here. Are there images that were in ancient Kemet that are throughout the world now that we don't know are African origin, or from Africa?
Yes, the educational system retards you. I want to say that. So it can disconnect you from the truth. Remember, we are the original people on the planet by hundreds of thousands of years. Modern human has probably been here for about 500,000 years. Before 10,000 years ago, there were no Wazungu on the planet. Do you hear me? Wow. Nobody with blue eyes, blonde hair, more than 10,000 since the last great flood. So all of these are newcomers to the planet. So they don't know the planet like we know the planet intrinsically, ancestrally. That's why we had a relationship with the planet. When they came to America here and they came across an indigenous people, we had a relationship with the planet, with the earth. They didn't have no relationship with it. They just want to exploit it. We're going to take it. We're going to buy it. We're going to put up a fence. The natives didn't understand that. Why are you going to put a fence up? This is for everybody. You know, there's one of my favorite movies. It's called Quilombo. It takes place in South America, and it shows the first Africans who freed themselves, even before Haiti, right? Wow. And Gangazumba, the king, is arbitrating between two guys arguing. So they had a barter system. So the one guy had some vegetables and stuff, vegetables and fruit, and he wanted the other guy's corn and stuff like that. But the guy didn't want to sell him no corn. He said, "No, my stuff is more valuable than yours, and this is mine." And the king says, "Oh no, you're going to trade with him." He says, "You've just been entrusted with that." He says, was it your piece of rain that watered this corn? No. Was it your piece of air that gave this corn earth? Was it your piece of earth that you created? No. This belongs to everybody. You're just the caretaker. I'll exchange his vegetables so that everybody can have. So he was, but you see the sense he was trying to make it, he was trying to show how we're all connected.
Yeah.
But you don't have absolute ownership. You might be responsible for that coming forth, but you still have to share that with everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So it's a beautiful concept of how he told the guy, was it your piece of sun that gave us light?
Yeah.
Was it your piece of rain? No, it belonged to everybody. You're just the caretaker. Now you're going to exchange with him. We're not asking you to give up all your stuff. We're talking about just some bartering. That's all.
Yeah.
So everybody would be taken care of. Okay.
Yeah.
So we had a system like that, and that's kind of brought out in the HAPI film. We kind of did that too. The idea that we have to share with each other and exchange commerce.
Yeah.
You have something that I need, I got something that you need, and we exchange energy.
Yeah. Yes, we are here because of HAPI. You just a wealth of information. So tell our viewers, like, why do they need to see HAPI? Like what do you think they need to see? I mean, why do you think they need to see it? What will they learn?
To joggle their ancestral memory. Remember I said when the water breaks in the womb, you lose your memory. And if you don't have a guide or a high priest to teach you what you have lost so that you can move forward, then you never get back to where you even were. Each generation degrades and become less and less. And that's what has happened. Think about it. Pyramid builders now become project dwellers. So you went from building pyramids, the greatest monuments and temples on the planet, to just dwelling in the projects. How did that happen? That didn't happen overnight. That took a time, right? So a film like HAPI is going to joggle your memory, and you're going to say, wow, we're a great people. You're a dynamic people.
Yeah.
In fact, we the bomb.
You know what? Yes.
Just get back down to it. But we got to be in our right mind.
Yeah.
We got to have our right hair. I'm looking at your beautiful afro, my sister. Okay, all right. We got to understand that, and the word nap is the word for hair in Medu Necha.
Oh.
So when we say your hair is nappy, that was the word for hair in Medu Necha, nappy.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I love this little nappy hair. This is some good, strong nappy hair.
And it's the strongest hair on the planet.
Yes.
The little white straight stuff is fur, animal fur. We prefer animal fur than over hair. That's a program. You had to descend, just like I said, you descended from the moon. You had to descend from the highest culture to a low culture to accept that. To try to bleach your skin to be lighter. Wait a minute. Melanin is the essence of the universe. And you're trying to get the melanin.
Yeah, it's the bomb.
That's retarded. Now, if you just happen to be born with not a lot of melanin, I'll pray for you. But you know, but don't try to get rid of your melanin. That's retarded. You know, I'm trying to show you the depths from which you. So the film, like HAPI, is making you feel good about being black, about having health. Remember, I said chlorophyll is to plants the way melanin is to human beings.
Yes.
Melanin helps you think better. Now, remember, I said that every running event was held by an African, meaning that we're faster, more agile, more. Well, it takes brain synapses and energy to create the muscle movement. So when you say somebody's a superior athlete, you're saying somebody is a superior thinker.
Yes.
You're saying somebody has greater superiority of their mind to be able to manipulate their body to do what they do.
Yeah.
See, they try to disconnect it. They try to make believe, oh, he's just all athlete. That's just bronze. Not knowing that in order to do what he had to do, he had to think it first.
Yeah.
When you see somebody like O.J. Simpson or Gale Sayers or Jim Brown running through and dodging every football player on the team, that was a mental thing first.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to constantly keep thinking. We, like you said, we have to deprogram ourselves, and we have to think a whole new way.
So HAPI is helping us. It's a catalyst to help us. First, it lets us know of how great Egypt was, ancient Kemet. We know how great it was, and that it was an African people, not the stuff you see on TV. See, they had their master scribes messing our mind up. We need our master scribes to create positive images. Positive images so that we see. So HAPI is going to help create positive images. It's going to let you know that your money, your wealth is in your consciousness and your culture. Now, let me say this here. In ancient Kemet, their wealth was around their culture. They traded on things that they need. So they used cowrie shells. They used herbs. And that was what they were trading. They used things that they were using in their everyday life, things that made that they needed to survive with. So we have to do the same thing. Everything that Africans need those are the things we should be trying to develop.
Yes.
You understand that?
Yes.
So we need to produce our own clothes. We shouldn't be wearing no Gucci, no Jordache, or any of these other designers. If you ever see me in something like that, smack me. Okay? Because you know I've lost my African mind. In fact, if you see me that was a clone. That ain't even Mfundishi.
Okay? Yeah, that won't even be you.
That wouldn't even be me. All my clothes is made by African people, or I design it and stuff myself, and I only wear African clothes. That's my culture. Okay. Yeah. And so that's what you need to be able to do. You finance that. That's how you got wealthy. So I had to go to another African. So I employed them. Remember when you talked about Black Wall Street? They said the dollar changed hands 100 times before it left the community. Sometimes the dollar stayed in the town a year or more before it went across the tracks.
No, it's 6 hours now. It's 6 hours.
Right. So we went from a year. We went from a year to 6 hours.
Yeah.
That means that's a whole lot of damage has been done to the mind.
Yeah.
Okay. So a HAPI film is getting you think about how do we generate money, how do we keep it in the community, and how do we control that community. So Dr. J did a good job of talking about communication, the synthesis, and how politics, governing.
Yeah, the triangle. Yeah, culture, politics, and economics. Yes.
He shows you how they're connected, the culture, economics, and the politics. Who taught us that in school? We learned them independently, not connected.
No.
So therefore, even if you got an MBA, you don't know how to run a Black community. Your MBA makes you middle management for the Wazungu, for the Europeans. Okay. So the HAPI film talks about how do we become independent again? How do we embrace our culture?
Yes.
Okay. And once you embrace your culture, now what do you need to help your culture flourish?
Yeah.
And see, only we can make Africa a great brand again. Europeans made Africa a terrible brand. Yeah. Most people got a bad image of Africa. It's never been there.
And never been there. Yeah.
But their image is bad because the Europeans have defined our image of Africa.
Yeah.
And if you think of commerce and economics, you definitely not thinking of Africa. You're thinking of Rome. You're thinking of Greece. And they studied under us.
Yeah. Yes.
Even the cathedrals and stuff that you see in Europe were built by Africans. They contract us to come and build them. We were the sacred science and the sacred geometrists. Mm-hmm. And Freemasons and Masonry are all trying to study African studies. So in another film that me and HAPI, that me and Dr. Jeffries and
Taki
all put together was a film called The Tekken.
Yes.
And on The Tekken, we took you to Washington, D.C., and we showed you how this nation's capital is based upon ancient Kemet. Mm-hmm. That means that 52 of the 55 people who signed the Declaration of Independence were all Freemasons studying African studies.
Yeah. Yes.
And they built the nation, but because they're not connected to nature the way we are, they built the nation to control other people and to dominate other people, not to share with other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to say something that's going to be controversy.
What? Really? You and Mfundishi?
And some of my Pan-African brothers will probably disagree. I believe that African people and other ethnic groups like Asiatics and Europeans can live together, but only if Africans rule. Mm. Mm. We have to be in charge.
Yeah.
And we have to have the basis, our cultural system. Ma'at.
Yeah. I mean, it's proven.
That's the only way to live together.
Yeah.
That's the only way. Other than that, we need to be you do you over there and we'll do us over here.
Yeah. 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 Oh gosh, you said so much. So one of the things that Mfundishi talked about was this movie that he was in called The Tekken. So Taki Grant, the director and writer of this of HAPI, he also did two other films. One was called Nubia, The Untold Story, and the second one was called The Tekken. So this is the third one called HAPI, the role of economics in the development of civilization. So, you know, Mfundishi, you're the bomb. You're the bomb. There's somebody had a question. They wanted to know could you explain the law of reciprocity?
Surely.
Yes. I'm going to find this. I think it was a brother that said it. Go ahead.
All right. The law of reciprocity comes from almost like an African proverb of what goes around comes around. That is that in order to receive ma'at, you have to give ma'at.
Okay.
Whenever ma'at is not given, you need to try to bring ma'at back into order, and then you need to compensate the person for keeping you away from ma'at because you can't get that time back. So, for example, that's where reparations comes in. Reparations say, okay, you enslaved a people, took away their freedoms, their dignity, and now you recognize that you were wrong. So you apologize. I was wrong. But now reciprocity is that you denied these people a livelihood for hundreds of years. So they need to be compensated. For example, originally they were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule. Now, you know, we didn't get that. And the ones who did get it got it taken away. They reneged on the contract. Okay. So, all right. So reciprocity means that, watch this here. I'm a farmer and I got some corn growing and I'm raising some chickens over here. And one day you just decide you're going to have some corn in some of my chickens without paying me. So you grab a couple of ears of corn, bring my chicken, make chicken McNuggets out of my chicken. Right? And I come along and say, yo, what you doing? And so I call you know, the county clerk on you and they arrest you, and the judge said, all right, listen, you're guilty. You still got chicken feathers around your mouth. Corn still stuck in your teeth. So you can't even deny it. The evidence is all over you. You took Mfundishi's chicken and his corn. So you ate it. We can't get it back. So you have to pay him for it. So what you're going to have to do, first we're going to flog you about 20 on the butt. So you can remember this and don't do it again. And now you got to come and work for Mfundishi for a week to pay back the corn that you ate and the chickens that you made McNuggets out of. Okay? That would be reciprocity. So, yes, he apologized for taking my stuff, but meanwhile, I'm still missing the chicken and the corn. Reciprocity would mean that I need to compensate me for what I have lost. So not only do I bring things back into my art, I need compensation for my lost goods. That's reciprocity.
Okay, but does reciprocity only mean like good and bad? Like, say if I baked you a cake,
right,
and then you in turn bake me a cake, is that reciprocity, or is only like if I stole your cake and then you know?
Okay, no, that's just doing to others as you would want them to do unto you.
Okay.
Reciprocity is to correct a wrong.
Okay, it's to correct a wrong. Okay. Okay.
Because my art is supposed to be the norm. That's harmony. If I take you out of the harmony, I need to be compensated to get me back into the harmony.
Yes.
And the time that I lost. If I bake you a cake and you bake me a cake, we don't get fat. That's all.
Yeah.
We subject to get sugar diabetes. That's the only thing that happened from that. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay. But yeah, so when reciprocity is when a wrong is done or imbalance.
It's an imbalance. Okay.
You bring things back into balance and then compensate for the time that things was not in balance. So that's what reparations is about. America has given more reparations than any country or nation in the world. They just have not given it to Black people.
Yeah, exactly. Kwesi, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. He wants to know, do you believe Black can one day truly take charge of the U.S., the nuclear weaponry, and rule the world?
Okay, let me answer that. I appreciate the question. First of all, you don't really want to take over the U.S.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Secondly, is that those type of weapons can destroy the planet. You want to disperse of that. You want to eliminate that.
Yeah.
So let me just say that again. So you don't want to think like the Wazungu.
Yeah.
And remember, I said the only way we can live with Wazungu is if we are in charge. And so because our numbers are growing, Wazungu understand that probably by 2030, they're minority in America, which means that they might be under some Black rule.
Yeah.
But we would have to change the structure of the way the society runs. Because we think different. We're connected to nature different. We don't want to just exploit people.
Yeah.
You know, so to answer his question, yes, Black people could be in control, but the whole nature of the society would have to change because our values is different. The way we look at the world is different. And the way we would aid the world to help other people would be different. So America wouldn't be America. It would be something else here in North America. Okay.
Yeah, we'd be looking through African eyes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Mfundishi. I want to thank you. Wait, before I thank you officially, do you have anything else you want to say?
Let me just end up, if I can, with Pan-Africanism.
Yes.
So what hapifilm again is telling us again is that we can solve all our problems. African people will not get the respect they're supposed to have in the world until Africa gets the respect. When you mess with somebody from Germany here, the German nation comes in and the diplomats come in and they have to deal with America. If you mess with somebody Russian, they have what's the proper word? Immunity, diplomatic immunity. You have to deal with that Russian diplomat on in a tribunal or international court. But you can just mess over African people anywhere, and there's no African country coming to your aid. Yeah. Ghana is one of the first countries, and now even Nigeria had a march on Black Lives Matter, holding the American embassy in Nigeria accountable for Africans being shot here in America. You see, when you put that type of force, that means when you shoot, Martin even said it, injustice to any African anywhere is injustice to all Africans everywhere.
Yes.
See, that's Pan-Africanism. That's Africans throughout the diaspora. So when we pull ourselves together like the fists, instead of being spread out like this, when we pull ourselves together as one with Pan-Africanism, then we will get the respect we have in the world. But let me say this here, Africans in the diaspora have the greatest dispensable income and have developed some of the greatest skills and technology. We need to bring that back to the African continent. Yeah. Me and Dr. James Small was building one time, this is a little while ago, and we talked about how Africa was a dynamic sphere of knowledge, but it was like a glass knowledge. And somebody came along and bust that glass open and the pieces spread all over the place. It's our job now to find these pieces and start putting them back together. We got Africans in Brazil. We got Africans in Europe. We got Africans in China being abused and stuff. We got Africans throughout North and South America. We need to start thinking as one group. And when you mess over any Africans anywhere, you have to hear from all of us.
Yeah.
You see, that becomes powerful. Yes. And that's the salvation. So I'm about making Africa a good brand again. The reason why people want Jordan sneakers is because it's a good brand. They can't play no ball no better. It's not like you put on Jordan sneakers and start slamming from the foul line and throwing shots. No.
Yeah.
The game stays the same. But you got some little status and you feel better because you in some Jordans or you wear number 23. It's a brand. Jordan paraphernalia outsells all the NBA together. It's a brand. It's a brand that represents excellence. We have to make Africa a good brand again. And why is it's not kept? Some people know how dynamic we are.
Yeah. When
I'm doing a lecture like in Europe and stuff like that, I have Europeans come up to me and want to touch and kiss my foot. I'm like, all right, you ain't got to go way down there. Just, because they recognize, they go, oh, wow, he's got the knowledge. He's one of the ancient ones. This is who built Kemet. They know that.
Yes.
We're the ones that don't know it.
Yes. Yes.
They're looking at me and they go, oh, that's Mfundishi. And then we look, oh, that's that brother on 125th Street selling rock. Selling rock. They ain't even got it. Selling rocks. So this love of Africa. You see, you can't become great till you love yourself. Malcolm made it real clear. You can't hate the roots of the tree without hating the tree.
Yeah.
It's a package deal.
It's a package deal.
Africa is the roots of us. We have to develop this love affair with Africans. There can't be animosity between Africans from the continent and Africans in the diaspora. And right now, religion is really got a grip and keeping us together. I got some people, I'm not their brother unless I'm a Muslim. Some people, I'm not their brother unless they're Hebrew. They had Casario on one of the YouTube channels, I believe Sonetta, and he was all lovey with the young brother until we found out the brother was wasn't a Hebrew Israelite. He was into the Kemetic thing. Then he said, "No, I'm not your brother no more." It was a young teenage boy who was looking up to him.
Wow.
And he's just like, "No, you ain't my brother, but you are African." He found out you were African. And I even asked him one time, I said, "Listen, man, y'all on the corner talking about the filthy Africans. I'm like, all right, you don't like Africans. I'm down with that. But why I gotta be filthy? I take about 3 showers a day. I take a shower in the morning, shower when I come back home, And then at night, well, I gotta be a filthy African, you know? Why can't you just say I don't like Africans? You know, I gotta be the filthy Africans, you know. So the adjectives they use, this is a real self-hate. And if that person took a DNA test, he would be just as African as I am.
Yeah.
You're not born in religion. Religion is something you adapt to or become associated with or assimilated into. But you were born an African.
Yeah.
So that's your first love. And let me just say this here. Remember, I got to break it down to like it's a 5-year-old. For those people, if I shot past you, I want to make this statement. You know what a German Shepherd dog looks like. A German Shepherd, pretty big dog. He has pointy ears. He's kind of brown and black. You know what he looks like. If I take the German Shepherd and bring him to America, does he become an American German Shepherd? No, he's still a German Shepherd. And if I take him to Canada, he doesn't become a Canadian German Shepherd.
No.
And if he has pups on the airplane, TWA, he doesn't become a TWA Shepherd. He's still a German Shepherd. So why do we take Africans out of Africa and they become something else? They become Negroes, colored, Native Americans, Moors, everything but Africans.
Yes, yes, yes.
You see, you got to be clear. You got to break it down so it's clear. We are, and now some people say, well, wait a minute. Africa's a European name. Brother James Small broke this down clear. Leo Africanus took on the name Africa because he conquered some people who called themselves Africans.
Yeah.
That the name was already in use. Afri and Africa were already in use. And we didn't have a real name for the whole continent. And so we adjusted to that. But you know what we're talking about in the modern era when we say African. So don't act stupid on us. No, seriously, people use semantics to try to divide us.
Yes.
And today you got to say Black African because we got Wazungu and Asiatics talking about they African because they were born on the continent.
Yeah.
Malcolm said because a kitten has kittens, because a cat has kittens in the oven, it doesn't make them biscuits. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So because you were born here, I think it's Kwame Nkrumah said, you're not African because you were born in Africa. You're African because Africa was born in you.
Yes.
In your DNA. You understand that? So I don't care if you come from Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Florida, California, Canada,
Detroit.
You're still an African person.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So love, people. Just love between yourself. Go see our film HAPI. Wake up and grasp your culture and begin to help us become one people, one energy again.
One people.
Remember the fist, not the open hand. Yes. Black power.
Black power. Yes. Yes. I tell you, we had Professor James Small on last week and he was like, African power. I mean, I was just like, yes. So just thank you, Mfundishi. There's a couple people asking about your classes and how to get in touch with you. I put your website up. So can you just kind of just tell us a little bit about that? I'm going to find it and put it back up for everybody.
Okay. Yeah, it's www.mfundishijhutyms.com. That's the website. And my my Facebook is Mfundishi DJhutyms. So usually whenever a class is posted, like this Sunday, I'm teaching a class on spiritual crystal connection.
Oh.
How to use crystals as a healing modality. They can go on my Facebook in the classes from 7 to 9. Every Saturday and Sunday morning from 9 to 11 at Marcus Garvey Park in Harlem, I teach Kupagani and Gumi and Ma'at Akup meditation and Egyptian warrior art. Male and female and children, okay? You can't send your children, you have to come with them. And we got a couple of the new right now we're kind of like we're about 4 or 5 weeks into the class, so I kind of suggest people now to come into class in October. That's when the new session starts.
Okay.
Because right now, y'all are getting ready to start sentences next week. And
Yeah.
so people coming in that don't even know the alphabet, they'd be lost. Okay.
Yeah.
But they can join my crystal class because I always start from the beginning and work around.
Yeah.
And then we even have comedic spiritual initiation classes, or how one learns to use this stuff after you know it. So you learn to do next year. What do you do with it now?
Yeah.
How does it make your life better? So we teach you how to make it functional in everyday society.
Yeah.
We create all our material. We have our own flashcards. We create our own games. We create all this paraphernalia that we need. Our own map. We're doing our own timeline. And so the idea is, let's take control of our own education, just our space.
Yeah.
I'm just asking you to be the captain of your ship. I don't want you to be captain of mine, captain of your children's, captain of your neighbors. Be the captain of your ship. Most of us are in the baggage department in our own ship. And some of us are in the baggage department in somebody else's ship.
Yes.
So you don't know where the ship going, and you handle somebody else's bags, not even your own. And so when you come to your destination, you wonder, why are you here?
Yeah. Thank you, Mfundishi. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I tell you, every time I do one of these, it's just like, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. You are speaking to my soul.
Yes, well, you're being an esteemed expert scribe that's making sure that the people are connected to the experts and the elders.
Yes.
And are always keeping reference to the ancestors.
Yeah, so much to learn. So much to learn. All right, everybody. Okay. So Mfundishi, I'm just gonna put you backstage for a second. Don't go anywhere. Okay. And I'm just gonna give up some little house cleaning things. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mfundishi. All right, everybody. So thank you guys again for tuning in to another HAPI Talks. I know that brother Professor James Small was on King Simon's show, and some people were going kind of back and forth. So now that we're done with Mfundishi, you can move on and look at King Simon's show. Is posted up on his YouTube page. Thank you guys again for just tuning in. And the tickets for the HAPI premiere are still for sale. It's tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, everyone, if you sign up, if you bought a ticket, you will get an email from us telling you how to access the film. You'll get one today, and you'll get one tomorrow, and then you will get a separate link for the Zoom link for the panel discussion. If you have any questions, you can contact us all types of ways. Our information will be in the email, but please just sit down with your families, look at this film, and you may have to look at it more than one time just so that you can get all the information. And we hope that this film inspires you, because it was definitely made in love from all of us to you. So please go to hapifilm.com, get your ticket, look out for the emails. If you guys have any questions, anything, we'll be posting all day tomorrow on how to access the film so that everybody's clear about everything. And when you go to hapifilm.com, if you could just please sign up for the newsletter, because we have a lot of good information we put in there every month. So please sign up for that too. Thank you guys again, and peace.